If I was Justin, I would just tell you guys to suck it up, don't complain, and just get things done. But instead of roasting you guys and gals, let me share with you all some methods that I've tried over time and what worked, what did not, and what I learned from them. So for me, I did both sport and music on top of 8 classes in high school. Some say that I might have not had a life, but I still got through it. And I had like games to be at, practices to attend, lessons to go to, RCM exams to prepare for, on top of millions of test projects and random homework that teachers love to shove at you because for some reason they don't talk to each other or spread out the deliverable dates. Like, what is up with that? And so to survive, I started mapping out my week on a spreadsheet with 30-minute intervals. I blocked off all the times that are fixed times, like times I have to be at school, my sport practices, my music lessons, and this really gave me a visual to see where I can slot my music practice times, my homework times, and my free times. And all I did was just create that in an Excel spreadsheet, and I just placed that on a wall so that I can refer to it constantly. And but then however, it got pretty tedious to make because each semester I'll be doing different sports. So there's going to be different practice times. And I also thought that time boxing my task was too restricting, as sometimes I needed more time to do X, Y, Z. So I decided to actually make use of my agenda more and use it more like a checklist. And this eventually became like my go-to tool that I could not live without. And it helped me document all the tasks that I had to do, because you just simply cannot remember everything in your head. So write them down. And I'm just curious to know, like, do you guys still get agendas? And like, do you guys still use them? If so, let me know in the comments, or if not, you can let me know. And so at the end of each class, just before leaving, I would create a list of items that needs to be completed for that particular class. And then when looking at my agenda, it gave me a really good overview of the days and the weeks of what schoolwork needed to be completed. And I simply go down the list of the days and check them off as tasks. Furthermore, I also added sport practice times, my games, as well as my music lessons and my theory homework in the agenda as well, so that I have reminders that I can track them. But then going through the tasks individually, one after another, was still too limiting because I find that sometimes when I spend more time doing X, then I may not have time doing Y. So once again, back to the drawing board. And one thing that I really had to learn was to determine which tasks were more important, which tasks were easier to do, which tasks were more worth it, just so I can essentially work a little more efficiently. I then prioritized my homework load based on efforts and deadlines. And usually I would do more of like the no-brainer stuff, like math, because it's very like black and white. You either know how to solve it or you don't. And not to mention that it's the calculator who does the hard work for you. You just have to find that one answer. And then leave the heavier stuff like writing English essays to do later, because I need more time to carefully craft and choose the words that I want to put. And so by shifting your homework types around, you might find yourself opening up to some more time to do other things, whether it's for leisure activities or readings. And to this day, I still write my tasks on sticky notes. And I always actually have a stack on my desk because I find that having something physical in front of me at all times helps reminds me of what I need to do. And there's a sense of satisfaction when I get to cross off my completed task. And this method is very nice and simple, and you don't have to fumble around with technology. But for those who have to use apps and software just because you don't want to kill any trees, there's a checklist app, or there are checklist apps available even natively on your phones and computers, or you can use stuff like Trello, Asana, Microsoft To Do, Notion, just to name a few. And I think these tools can be very useful, especially when all your teams are working remotely now, and it helps you track all your tasks and the progress of your team. However, I don't find that using digital mediums are helpful, at least individually, because it's always hidden somewhere. Like you actually have to go to the link, or you have to like open your computer each time. Although having automated reminders can be helpful if there's like a special event that I need to attend. And so, yeah. And like for those who can multitask well, I sometimes would do my studies when I was in high school between games and lesson travel times. Or there was even a time when I was so desperate to memorize some diagram for like a bio test that I copied my notes and I put plastic wrap around it and actually stuck it in the shower so that I can do two things at once. Those are just some weird tricks that you can try. It helped for me. And another thing that I would highly recommend, especially to stay on task, would be to find a quiet place and disconnect yourself for the period of time that you have to get things done, so that you can prevent all the distractions. As much as you want to see that next Snapchat post or the next Bernie memes, those can wait. And so a lot that has been mentioned is pretty self-explanatory, but the 5 tips that I have learned to get you started on juggling and staying on task would be: number 1, to be organized and create flexible plans. Always have a to-do checklist in mind so that you are aware of what is to come, and be able to adapt quickly if there are any emergencies. And then number 2, be able to identify and prioritize tasks. This is a very important skill to learn and develop, and it will come back to haunt you for the rest of your life, whether you are pursuing a career in the industry or not. It's a very important skill to have. And also, if you think something is less important, learn to say no. And then number 3, commit to a routine. You will feel less at loss if you have a consistent schedule of what to do and when to do what. And on days that I don't have sport practice or games, I would do my music practice first after school, followed by my homework. And a lot of my week has been very structured, so that on weekdays they are usually dedicated to more school-related things, and on weekends I tailored it to more of my extracurricular and leisure things. I also try my best not to schedule anything on Sundays and allocate this time as my, in quotation, prep day. So I have some quiet time to relax and get ready for the next week. And then number 4, don't procrastinate. I fall into this trap as well, and often too, but try your best to do the task almost immediately once it has been assigned to you, and because it definitely becomes stressful when you're trying to finish your homework at the last minute, and it not only puts a toll on your body, but it also puts a toll on your computer. And last but not least, number 5, don't forget to rest and relax. So I allocated my Friday after schools and occasionally Saturday afternoons as my leisure times where I get to hang out with my friends and watch anime. So I can take my mind off the more stressful things. Also, trying to jam information and memorize your tests is tiring as well. So feel free to take naps. I always end up falling asleep doing my social studies. Just so taking naps, it helps your brain process some of that information. But do remember to set an alarm in case you oversleep. Yeah, so I think those are my couple of cents and dollars to how to stay on task and manage and juggle around everything that you have. It might be painful to start forcing yourself to follow a very strict schedule, but I would encourage you all to try a few of these tricks. Everyone has a different working style, so it's not really one size fits all, but if you do end up trying something, let me know and let me know how it goes.